It's supper time at my house. It's deer season, or you've collected your deer and you're ready to prepare it. We've done a country fried deer along with potatoes and onions, some gravy, some beans, homemade buttermilk biscuits. Let's go. One of my favorite times of the year. A couple months ago, we got back from Texas and I was gifted a deer backstrap. So here we are. We have a Texas backstrap. I don't know if I've ever had deer from Texas. We've had it from Wyoming, Colorado, and of course Tennessee. Cut it in half, vacuum sealed it, and this is what we got. So this is the deal. I'm going to cut up this one because in my family, I'm about the only one that's going to eat this. But before we get there, we need to trim this one for me. So this is, you can see it's still got the silver skin on it. We're literally just going to take it off really quick, sharp knife, right underneath the skin. And this is true for filet or any type of meat that you have. Pork tenderloin. This stuff is extremely tough. You can see that knife working against it. When you're doing this, if you angle your knife up, you don't have to worry about digging in, okay? So if you dig in the fillet or the back strap, that's no good. So angle your knife up and just imagine using it like a scraper. Same thing, pull it back and see how the knife blade's angled up. You're just gonna work around or work against the silver skin. Flip it over, same thing. Probably want to get as much fat off as possible. Typically that's where a lot of the gaminess comes from. So we're just looking to clean this up as much as possible. And there we go. Fantastic deer backstrap. So my way of thinking is we're going to just pound this out. So I want a good chunk. Something like medallions. Take out some of your aggressions. You're looking at something like that. Perfect size. And just like that, you have yourself some fantastic pieces of deer. Look at that. I cannot wait. We're gonna do some fried potatoes and onions, a little pepper gravy with some beef stock, some homemade buttermilk biscuits, along with some pinto beans. For the marinade, we have 1 egg, splash of buttermilk, maybe about, for that much, about 1/3 of a cup. Hot sauce of your choosing, buffalo sauce, whatever you got, just adds a little kick. I typically stay away from doing the seasonings at this point. Just add each piece in there, coat it liberally, and then we're going to just set it in the refrigerator for a few hours. Heck, we could set it outside.
Yeah, it's probably colder outside.
Yeah, probably freeze, actually. Definitely colder.
My hands are about to freeze, I know that.
Next up, we have some massive baking potatoes. We're just going to dice them up, let them soak out in some water to release some of that starch. Parboil them, and then we'll start them on the griddle with the country fried steak, along with some onions. It's been a few hours later. The deer is finishing up in that buttermilk, egg, and hot sauce marinade. Homemade buttermilk biscuits. Flour, you got your baking powder and salt. Give that a mix. We have a 1/4 cup of butter, basically half a stick. And I'm just gonna hedge my bed a little bit, just kind of like shave it off a little bit. You can use a box grater, which works really well. This has been in a freezer for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. This just helps me use the fork method. And we're just gonna work that into the flour and create crumbs out of the butter. This is why I slice it thin. To that, we're gonna add our buttermilk, and we're just gonna work that together until all that flour incorporates, and then we can turn it out to the board. Once it starts coming together, that's your telltale sign it's time to knead up and over, and we're going to continue that about 5 to 6 times. If it's too wet, you'll know it right away. You can add a little bit more flour. But right now you can see we're still crumbly, which is good. And this is basically what you're doing when you're creating your layers. All right, this is the last go around, and we're going to look at about an inch. I like my biscuits to be kind of tall, something like that. When you're doing your biscuits, go straight down. Don't twist them or anything else. See those edges? They climb on each other. If they're collapsed, they won't climb as well. Set those aside and we'll bake them at 475 for 8 to 10 minutes. Rocking and rolling, no shame in my game. Peppered gravy. Look, so the instructions say add water. First of all, we're gonna add milk, not water. And second of all, we're gonna add that beef consomme, beef bouillon. So we get it in the jar, you know, like the paste. It just encompasses a little bit more flavor, and that's what it's all about. You can do just plain, you can make from scratch, whatever you want to do. Just trying to keep it on the go. All right, smoked beef tallow today. It is fantastic. We're going to start the potatoes. I've parboiled those to give them like a head start, especially it being so cold. I don't want to be out here all day. Ugh. Liquid gold. That's what I'm talking about. First things first, some onions. Just get those started. One thing I would caution about really quick before we keep going is you notice the griddle is up to temperature, rocking about a medium low to like a medium heat. The potatoes are already part cooked, right? So they're already up to temperature, they're already hot. The onions have been sitting out outside, it's not a big deal. The reason why I say that is because if you had your grill like this, you decided not to boil your potatoes, you had them in the cold water, you dump that much cold product on a hot griddle, there's a chance it could warp. So just be careful, just for your information. And of course, the unintended consequence of making this. Had no idea it'd be that good on potatoes. I'm not the only one that thinks so. You guys seem to absolutely love it as well. It's actually become our #1 seller. That can be found on theflattopking.com. Salt, pepper, garlic, and butter. What better way to add flavor to your potatoes? So this will zap a lot of heat from your griddle. So just be patient. You notice there's still a lot of moisture coming out of the potatoes. We haven't even started frying them yet. So we got a little ways to go. Canned pinto beans and onions. Just got done making that gravy. Might have to thin it out just a little bit. You notice that color on there is a little bit darker than normal because that's because of that beef flavoring. So a good amount. You're working on a shallow fry. My griddle's running downhill towards you guys, so I'm able to capture a lot of that grease in the back. Use that to my advantage. After a while, it's going to cool down, and it should look something like that. That's what we use very often on both channels. And that is what we call smoked beef tallow. Rich crackers. You can use saltines, you can use butter crackers, whatever you want. Just make sure they're fine.
That's what it was.
What?
We were trying to figure out what recipe we did where you used
The crackers?
It was saltines, and it was the fried pork tenderloin sandwich.
There you go.
Yep. We were racking our brains. You said saltines, and it made me think of it.
That might be the first video that you've ever remembered me cooking anything with.
I remember everything. I remember so much of it, I could cook these meals myself.
So easy you can do it, huh?
Yep.
Roughly equal parts of each. Use your favorite breading. We like the mix. So you got the panko, the flour, and the crackers. To that, we're gonna add a little spicy spice. Season your flour up however you want to do it. Simply enough. Our oil is definitely hot enough. We're gonna do the single dredge today because I'm on a diet. So gotta watch your carbs.
We did just make the most amazing salmon. healthy dinner.
Hey, it's all about balance.
Check out that video because it was incredible.
Right in that pool of oil. A nice color on the potatoes. The onions are starting to cook. All right, we mentioned it several times. Since the oil catches down here, once you flip it, go and pull it back off. You can see we got some fantastic color. If you guys are new to griddling, heck, even if you're not, griddles, especially when a lot of people come over, you know, we talk about how much food it can cook. It can keep a lot of stuff warm. If you think about your stove, basically 4 eyes, right? You can put a lot more stuff on a 36-inch griddle, regardless of what it is, to keep a lot of things warm. So just a little tip for tat there. All right, you ready? I'm ready to plate it up. And of course, you can't forget those fluffy buttermilk biscuits. Might just have 2 of them.
They are darn good.
There we go.
You forgot your beans.
No, I didn't forget the beans. It's just the beans are wet, and I like to keep my beans in a bowl, kind of like greens. Got my hot sauce. We're about to chow down. There you go. Country fried deer. Put a little bit on mine. I know you don't like it. Test those taters. Before you pull them off the griddle, obviously you want to adjust for seasoning. Smoked beef tallow. Shake that. There's no way in the world you'll know it's deer.
Well, good. Maybe the kids will eat it then.
Yeah, right. That's good, You don't even like this type of food.
That's good.
Beans aren't the only thing I'm missing. My greens. My dad makes some dang good greens.
You know what I think the key is? The crackers and the panko and the flour.
All 3 of them. You think
Yeah.
all 3 of their key?
Super good.
All right, guys, there you go. There's the outdoor adventure. Like I said, we just got back from Texas a few months ago, so we have a lot of wild game. Looking for duck recipes. Still calling those out. Should be able to make something fantastic out of that. When we lived in Wyoming, I did a duck stir fry that got me 2nd place in our wilderness competition for a church retreat. So we might bring that back. As always, find us on Instagram, find us on Facebook. There's a join button down below. It's a membership program. We thank each and every one of you for taking time for doing so. Last but not least, thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that.
I think I got some hot sauce.
I didn't even give you the hot sauce.
I think I got a little
pound
hot
the notification
sauce.
and share it with your friends, please. I gave you the one without the hot sauce.
There was a little in
You're
there, I
allergic to
think.
black pepper.
It might have been black pepper.
Golly.